Well, Naledi, you would recall that the last time this case was postponed was for further investigations as well as possible bail applications. The question is whether those bail applications will go ahead this morning. As you correctly pointed out, Dr Nandipha Magudumana, her father, Zolile Sekeleni, as well as two others, a CCTV specialist as well as a former G4S warder, will be appearing in this court this morning. We're still waiting for their arrival. Usually, once they're brought from the various correctional facilities where they are being kept, they would usually drive in right here behind me. You see me looking to various directions at the moment because the expectation would be that it seems there might be one coming towards our direction. And Dr Nandipha Magudumana, essentially, for the very first time, will be appearing with her father in a court this morning. And as I indicated, with the former G4S warder, as well as the CCTV specialist, this doesn't look to be any of the accused in this matter that are arriving at this particular time. But of course, Dr Nandipha Magudumana facing charges of murder, fraud, defeating the ends of justice, as well as aiding and abetting the escape of a convict, and her father facing charges of arson, murder as well, defeating the ends of justice, as well as aiding, abetting a convict. So what's essentially, if these bail applications do go ahead this morning, Naledi, what they would need to convince the court of, given the seriousness of the charges that they are facing. If you're taking a look at murder, for example, they will really need to convince this court that, number one, they're not a flight risk. You must recall, of course, that Dr Nandipha Magudumana, as well as her boyfriend, Thabo Bester, were deported from Tanzania and brought back to South Africa after fleeing the country. That need to prove to this court that she is not a flight risk. The issue of the flouting or breaking of the immigration laws as well. Remember, it is now on record that they were deported from Tanzania to South Africa. Those are some of the issues that might come up. Also, convince this court that they will not tamper or interfere with the investigation, or even some of the witnesses that will later take the stand in this particular matter. So those are just some of the issues that, if these bail applications do go ahead, they would need to convince this court of. We are likely headed towards another postponement here this morning. That's what it certainly seems the direction is. And also, one of my sources has also told me that there's a high likelihood that Dr Nandipha Magudumana might not apply for bail in this instance. My source tells me for strategic reasons, but her father, Zolile Sekeleni, likely to bring that application for bail. But whether that will happen today certainly remains to be seen once this court gets underway. We're not sure at this particular stage when the court proceedings will get underway. We're still waiting to hear from the office of the presiding magistrate. But you'd also recall high drama inside this court on Friday, where the convicted Facebook rapist and murderer Thabo Bester had appeared in this court. He is not joining these four here at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court this morning. You'd recall his case had been postponed to May the 16th. And what we heard on Friday essentially is that Thabo Bester asking that we'd asked to address the court. That was not allowed. The presiding magistrate said whatever he wanted to communicate to the court, he could communicate through his legal counsel. And through his legal counsel, we then heard that he was too afraid to eat the food inside the correctional facility. And we heard, of course, in that exclusive interview that colleague Aldrin St-Pierre did, in which one of the inmates describing, the foods that Thabo Bester would eat, pizza and other luxuries, and not the prison food inside that facility. So we do know that after the proceedings on Friday, that Thabo Bester was taken back to the Kgosi Mampuru prison in Pretoria. There'd been much speculation over the weekend and some reports that he had been taken back to the Mangaung facility, which he escaped from back in May 2022. But that was rebutted during the course of the weekend by the Department of Correctional Services. And in fact, we had also confirmed that with his lawyer that indeed he was back at that facility in Pretoria. That's the Kgosi Mampuru prison. So Thabo Bester back on the 16th, but of course this morning it remains to be seen if those bail applications do go ahead. But of course my source at this point telling me that they at this particular stage there isn't a likelihood, and for strategic reasons, that Dr Nandipha Magudumana will apply for bail, but possibly her father Zolile Sekeleni might appear for bail. I've also managed to see some members of the Sekeleni family inside, obviously not speaking to the media at this particular time.
And just briefly, Chriselda, what time we're expecting those proceedings, because you've got the country really wanting to see things kick off?
No indication, Naledi, at this stage. You'd recall at the appearance of Thabo Bester on Friday, court proceedings got underway just shortly after 11 o'clock. There is no indication what is happening at the moment due to the strict nature, Naledi, of the access to the court, and also for security reasons. You'd have a look at this tag that I have on my hand. This tag indicates that I'm able to go inside court. I've been accredited to do so, also because the court is extremely small. So they're really trying to accommodate all the media that are here. I've also managed to spot some of my colleagues from the international front. So the media interest in this is also growing. And as they try to manage the media access inside, also currently the media is still setting up. No indication when proceedings will get underway this morning. Probably, I would say, likely in about the next hour or so or two.